All right, let's talk about one of the most useful and powerful tools in the workshop, the combination sander. This thing can shape wood like nobody's business, but all that power demands some serious respect. So we're going to break down exactly how to use it safely so you can focus on the making. Just take a look at this thing. Its whole job is to remove material. And trust me, it does it fast. You know, the line between a perfect project and a really bad day is all about knowing the rules. So let's get you prepped. So here's the thing. Safety doesn't start when you flip the switch. Nope, it starts way before that. This first part, it's all about getting you ready to work. Think of it like a pilot's pre-flight checklist before taking off. Okay, these are the absolute must-dos, no exceptions. First, you've got to get permission from your instructor, always. Then, do a quick personal check. Any dangling jewelry? Take it off. Loose sleeves or hoodie strings? Tie 'em back or tuck 'em in. Long hair? It's got to be tied back securely. All that stuff can get snagged in the blink of an eye. And the single most important piece of gear you'll wear, your eye protection. We're talking every single time. Even if you wear prescription glasses, you still need safety glasses on over them. This machine is basically a high-speed dust launcher, and you only get one pair of eyes. All right, this next one is a golden rule. If you need to adjust anything at all, the table angle, a guard, anything, the machine must be completely off, stopped. It is such a simple habit to get into, and it prevents a world of trouble. Okay, personal prep is done. Now let's turn our attention to the machine itself. I mean, you've got to know your tools, right? Understanding what each piece does is absolutely fundamental to using it the right way. So this machine is usually a 2-for-1. You've got the long abrasive belt, which is awesome for flat surfaces, and the round abrasive disc, which is perfect for outside curves. Notice they each have their own table. Now, take a second and find the important stuff. Where are the guards? Where's that on-off switch? Get familiar with it now. To put it simply, this is your shaping station. That long, flat belt is your best friend for getting perfectly straight, smooth edges. And that big spinning disc? That's what you'll use to smooth out all those outside curves on your project. But wait, what about inside curves? You know, like smoothing out the inside of a hole you drilled. Well, that is a job for the spindle sander. It's this clever little cylinder that spins and moves up and down, and it's designed to get into all those tight spots the other two just can't reach. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of actually using the belt and the disc. Pay close attention here because there are a couple of key measurements and a little bit of physics that are absolutely 100% critical to know. Our first critical number is 1/16 of an inch. It's tiny, right? It's about the thickness of a dime. And that is the absolute biggest gap you can have between the support table and the moving sandpaper. And why is that tiny gap such a huge deal? Well, if it's any wider, your workpiece can get sucked right down into that gap, jamming the machine and ripping the wood right out of your hands. You have to check this gap every single time before you turn the machine on. All right, our second critical number, 1 inch. Think of this as your own personal force field. Your fingers must never, ever get closer than 1 inch to that moving sandpaper. No excuses. Now, this isn't just a rule, it's a law of physics. That disc is spinning, so there's a side moving down towards the table and a side moving up. You have to sand on the side that's moving down. If you try to sand on the upward moving side, the disc will grab your wood and launch it straight up. It's violent, so always use the downward side. So here's what good technique looks like. Your piece needs to be held firmly and flat against the table. That table is there for support, so use it and keep the piece moving with a nice, steady motion. If you just hold it in one spot, you'll build up a ton of heat and get ugly burn marks. And now for a big flashing red light don't. Look at this. This area right here is what we call the pinch zone. Never, ever put your hands there. If that belt grabs the wood, your fingers are going right along for the ride. It is an incredibly dangerous way to hold your work. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the spindle sander. It's the perfect tool for those inside curves. But yeah, it plays by its own unique set of rules. So let's learn them. Okay, time for another quick checklist. First, the machine has to be off before you place your work over the spindle. Second, make sure the table insert is nice and close to the spindle for support. And third, this is a big one. Pick a spindle that's at least a ½ inch smaller than the hole you're sanding. If it's too tight to fit, it can catch and violently spin your project. And just like with the disc, direction matters. A lot. You always want to feed your wood against the rotation of the spindle. Doing that gives you total control. If you go with the rotation, the machine is just going to try and pull the workpiece right out of your grip. You've got the core rules down. Awesome. Now let's level up with a few pro tips. These are the little things that'll help you avoid common mistakes and make you a much smarter, safer operator. Remember what this machine is for. It's a finishing tool. It's meant for fine-tuning a shape, not for aggressively removing tons of wood. A good rule of thumb is to never sand off more than about a 1/4 inch of material. If you need to remove more than that, that's a job for the bandsaw. Do the rough work there, then come here to make it perfect. Here's a simple test for small pieces. Can you hold it securely and keep your fingers that safe 1-inch distance away? If the answer is no, the piece is too small for the machine. Period. Don't risk it. It's much safer to just sand it by hand. So what if you see a little smoke or get a whiff of that burning wood smell? First, don't panic. It's a common thing. It usually means one of 3 things. 1, you're not keeping the wood moving. 2, you're pushing way too hard. Ease up and let the machine do the work. Or 3, the sandpaper is just plain worn out and needs to be replaced. And that's it. You now have the knowledge to operate this powerful machine with both respect and control. You see, these rules aren't here to limit you. They're here to empower you to create amazing things, safely. So the only question left is, what will you build?